Now that we've created a workspace, we have it in the classroom, we've uploaded our students, we may want to create a workspace ahead of time that is specifically designed for a subject or a group or a student or an individual. And this video is going to take us through how to manipulate the tools in the workspace so that we can create, and also to take a look at what's available to the students, what you'll see and what they may not see. So we're going to work at the top first, and then we'll go to the left-hand side. And as you move across to the top, again, on the far left is always your home button. The next is a class. The next is the name of the workspace. Then we have your arrow. So your arrow is what you will choose. Once we start to have a few objects on our screen, you'll see how powerful that is, because you don't want to try to click on something to access the features using the other tools. If you're on the pencil and you try to click, you're going to begin to write on the screen. So the arrow is what you would expect it to do. The hand allows you to move around the screen. So once we have some things on here, you'll see how that will work. The next one is a pencil. So when you click the pencil, you have the option of a pencil or a highlighter. You can choose and change your color. You can add some colors. You can also change how thick the line is. Now when the students do this and the students use the workspace, they'll be on their iPad, so all this manipulation we're going to look at will be very easy for them on the iPad, because it will be a touch screen and they'll be able to work around easily. So I'm going to add some pencil lines here just so you can see what this will look like and what we'll be talking about when we go to some of our manipulations. So I've drawn two objects. I'm going to go back to my arrow, and I'm going to choose this square. Now when I do, you'll notice a few things. One, the entire shape has a highlight box around it. It will tell you who put it on there. So when you have students working, you'll be able to see exactly what each student has done. I also have a few options over on my left where I can duplicate it, I can trash it, or there's a drop-down arrow that allows me to do several other options. I can lock it, I can change the order, I can delete, I can copy. So you'll see that that arrow feature becomes very helpful. I can also grab it and turn it by using the button or the circle at the top. I can resize it by using the arrow in the lower, or I'm sorry, the circle in the lower right. So that is going to be some of the options that you can use with that arrow. Now the next one at the top is this eraser, and you'll see that you can change the size. And if I bring that over here, you'll see that I am erasing what I had done with the pencil. Now let's say that I've done that. Well, over here on the right, there's a trash can. Notice it says there are no objects to restore. So if you are actually using the pencil and erasing, that's not going to be here. And there's a reason I show you that. So if I go over to my left and I put in a shape, let's say that I choose this red circle, and I just drag the circle in here and I resize it a little bit, and we have this circle on our page, and then I do trash. When I go back over here to my trash can, you'll see that that shape shows up, and I can click there and restore, but I'm not able to restore the pencil marks that I had drawn there. So just keep that in mind when you're thinking about restoring deleted objects. So I'm going to go ahead and delete that. Now the magnifying glass is actually going to show you where you are on the workspace. At this point, it's a little bit different because I have a completely blank workspace. So I'm going to use my trash can feature to restore this. I'm going to add that red circle there. And now I'm going to go to my magnifying glass. You can see on the grand scheme of things where that circle is and how small it is in comparison to the canvas. So the canvas is a lot larger than you may think. You'll also see this pin feature right here. So if I pin, I'm going to go over to my bookmarks, and you'll notice you have a pin there. So you can actually, oh, I need to cut that. I don't know what the pin does. And you'll see on the screen, and you have several options here for things that you can do. So you can zoom in, you can zoom out. So those are the features that are moving across the top. You do have a clipboard option here that's going to be for some copy and paste items, but we're not doing that at this moment, so those are not going to be applicable. Now let's move to the left-hand side. At the top, you'll see we have sharing. So I can do share this workspace. If you have students in your class, you can actually hand out a copy to each student. That way they're working on their own individual workspace. You can start Follow Me. Now what that will do is if all your students are in, if you choose Start Follow Me, every student that's on there, wherever you go on the screen, whatever you do, they will only be able to see that, and it minimizes the tools that are on the left. That way they're not drawing and creating while you're trying to walk them through a section of the workspace that you have created. You can highlight all participants, which would show what everyone has done, or if you have multiple students, you can choose what they have done. It'll tell you how many items they've contributed, and if you check their name, you can see where they contributed on the workspace. So that whole idea of group work, and some students work and some students don't, you can really see who has done what. And then you can choose that the students can see who created what, but I'm not sure when that would be applicable in the grand scheme of things, because you don't want necessarily for some students to see what others have or haven't done, and then that become a source of contention. So just keep that in mind if you choose that option. The next one going down is a bookmark. Now, a bookmark allows you to choose any area on the workspace and designate that as a location so that you can quickly navigate the workspace. It's really about navigating and using that tool to be able to go to a spot. So let's say that we're talking about quadratic equations, and we have this quadratic equation, and I have no idea what it is, and I did the pre-assessment, and I struggled greatly with the pre-assessment. I may want to create, as the teacher, now with students, I may want to create a learning progression where the students that maybe scored less than a 5 on the pre-assessment are at the first bookmark. So whatever you see on the screen, you can add a bookmark, and right now if I would go to that bookmark, this is what I would see. So I'm going to add another bookmark after I add a few more shapes and come back to this so you can see how this will actually work.